matter of inches. Was that the story Saturday night as well, that, just didn't quite have it sharp enough?
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we got better at some of those things. I actually was very pleased with our run game Saturday. And we thought that was a key. We needed to run the football. We had some success against LSU last year in the run game. We felt like it needed to be better than that to give us an opportunity to, maybe keep it balanced and make LSU honest. And we did a good job of running the football Saturday. But some of those things that we needed to do down the field, we did not get done Saturday, and it definitely affected us early in the game. The execution overall was better than Alabama, but wasn't where we needed it to play LSU. Not by any stretch.
Coach, the redshirt rule with 4 games, being in effect this year, you get someone like Matt Corral. The odds of him being at Ole Miss 5 years are slim to none. What is the reasoning for not playing him more than that 4 games to keep that red shirt?
Well, I think right now, while Jordan's healthy and we're competing in a ball game, we're going to keep playing Jordan. Right now, Matt Corral is a legitimate backup quarterback, so our plan is to play him and not redshirt him. As I've said earlier, if we get later on into the season and we haven't had to utilize Matt, and there's a chance where it's not going to affect the team competitively to keep his shirt, then we would do that. That's really, I think, coach's policy with everybody. That hasn't changed with Matt. It won't.
So the decision not to play Matt right now is not based on trying to hold the red shirt. It's just the decision to keep playing Jordan.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with Matt Corral Saturday. We're in a game that we're losing or competing in, and Jordan's our starter, and we can take anybody out. We played our starters, and all the rotating people played the entire game.
Even when you're down and the game is out of hand, like it was at the end of the second half, when the game's over and you were just handed off, not try to get Matt in the game to get him some experience?
Well, we were in a game at 28-13 deep into the third quarter. It was a game to me for a long time, and so, yeah, that's why we left Jordan and the rest of the starters in there to compete for the 4 quarters that were in the ball game.
Coach, two of the wide receivers got injured in the game, but they kept playing. Did they bounce back yesterday? They okay?
Yeah, they're nothing major. We had some cramping. I don't know if you saw the video on DK. He had his foot extended where his toe was on the ground, and they came down on the top of his heel. That had the potential of being a really bad injury, and it wasn't. And they took a look at him, and he felt good, and he came back. AJ's fine. So, no, none of that's serious. Doesn't concern me at all. Both guys will be on the field on Saturday.
You coached with Mike Collins at Sam Houston State. Is that familiarity help you a little bit this week?
It's funny that you asked that because we're in there watching their defense right now, and it reminds me of 2 years at practice at Sam Houston State. Mike was our DC those 2 years. He did a fantastic job, and he was a headache every day in practice with what they did. They do a lot of things, and they're going to keep you busy mentally. That hasn't changed, and we're in there working all that out right now. So yes, it's similar. I'm sure we seem similar to him. So it'll be interesting to compete against him on Saturday.
What are his tendencies? What does he like to do?
Mike likes everything. He wants to challenge you mentally. He's going to make you think. He's not going to sit in one defense and let you just tee off. They have some nice pressures when he wants to use them. They'll change up coverage. Typically, they're going to try and keep things in front of you so he doesn't give up the big play. But you've got to be alert because he'll bring a pressure that you haven't seen. He'll game plan and scheme your protection. He's definitely going to challenge you mentally, both on the staff end and with our players on the field. So we're going to need to be mentally sharp on Saturday.
On the run game, I know you've talked about chasing space and things like that. Are there times where you would force the issue with the run a little bit more if your passing game, receivers having drops, that sort of thing? Would you do that sometime?
I think we're never going to run into numbers, but I think where we feel like there's a good physical matchup, we're certainly going to run the football. Just the way it's designed, though, where the offense is designed to get to some grass, and I think the offensive line had done a really, really good job when we have equal numbers. And certainly Scotty is an explosive runner. Very, very happy, too, with Isaiah Ward's advancement, since the beginning of the season. I know Coach Nix has expressed he's gotten much better mentally, and so he's in a position right now where we feel real comfortable with him, and I think he's running hard. So we like both of them, and that's an area of our game that I think has gotten better the first 5 weeks of the season, and I expect it to continue to improve.
When it comes to, you just mentioned drops, do you see any common thread between those drop passes and even some plays where usually we're used to seeing your receivers come down with more of those catches?
Common thread, I think those catches that we didn't make, we're expecting to make, that we need to. When you play better game, and that's not to say the receivers are responsible for anything. We have things that we have to address at every position, but those are things that you see early in the game. We had 3 or 4 drops, and it affected drives. It affected an opportunity to score. And the expectation, I know in Coach Peeler's room and with me and with all of us, is that we make those catches. I don't see that being a trend throughout the season. It certainly was a problem on Saturday.
When it comes to a guy like Greedy Williams, what is he doing that you might not see every week?
Greedy's just an incredible athlete, and we challenged him Saturday, and he did a good job. I thought he was even more physical than maybe I anticipated. I thought he did a good job even in the run game, coming up and lowering his shoulder and being physical. But we knew he was an athlete. He's one of the better corners we've seen this year. Obviously athletically, we felt like we matched up well, and he did a really good job against us on Saturday.
Coach, in the 2 years you've been here, and you look at the talent on offense, are you a little surprised you haven't had more success when you're facing the better defenses? You've had success against the weaker teams, but against the better teams, you've struggled. Is there something that you look back that you're trying to tweak? Or, as she says, is there a common theme of what's going on?
Well, our record with Alabama and then this year's LSU game is certainly not what we expect from a standard, the standard that we want. I think, but I would debate you a little bit. I think Kentucky's defense was pretty good. I thought Mississippi State's defense was one of the best we faced last year. I think that in both LSU games we did some things physically that I don't know if people expected us to do it, but we matched up well up front on Saturday and last week. Skill-wise, yes, I do think we need to perform better. We need to make more plays in those one-on-one matchups. But from a staff standpoint, and coming from me specifically, I think maybe we need to do a little bit more to help our receivers create some space and some separation. We need to get them the ball more so that they can go be the athletes that they are. And that's something that we discussed this morning, and we will definitely address as we progress here into the season.
Any more questions?
Coach, it's a simple question. DeMarcus Lodge opened, the corner fell down, and Jordan just, I'm sure Kimo just pulled the trigger too quick.
Just missed it. I mean, I'd like to have a better excuse or a reason for you, but we just missed the throw. That's just what happened. It was a potential big play. I don't know if we would have scored on it. Somebody was tracking us, but that was an opportunity early that we just missed. Those are plays that I think everybody in this room knows. You've got to hit on some of those, especially early in the game, to get some momentum. And once we got going, the offense changed, and we know that. But we've got to do a better job. I have to do a better job of having us ready to get into a rhythm sooner in the game.
So along those lines, how do you assess how Jordan's played through 5 games, particularly against the Alabama and LSU?
Jordan he's played a lot in 11 games for us so far. He's played extremely well in 9 of them. I wouldn't say that Jordan doesn't play well against the better teams. I'd say right now, our 2 toughest games this year offensively, we didn't play well as a unit. Some of that is Jordan, some of that are the other positions. It's more of an offensive unit thing than it is the receivers or Jordan Tom or the O-line. It's 6, 7 penalties on offense doesn't help you.